Hey everybody, Spike here with Heartbreaker Relics. This past weekend, Magnolia State Archaeological Society had their first ever artifact show in Purvis, Mississippi, and it was an overwhelming success. The venue was fantastic. Thanks to all those people in MSAS that put this together. We appreciate it. We had a great time seeing old friends and making new ones and putting faces to people that we only knew through social media. It was a great show. And you know, there's always some just fantastic artifacts at these shows, and every now and then somebody will come in with something that'll blow you away, and this year was no exception. There was a young man walked up to our table and said he had something. We were responsible for him finding the second half of it, or at least partly responsible. And I'm going to get on over into that in a little bit later, and I'll introduce him a little bit later and let him tell his story. But I've been in touch with him a few times since I got back home, and the other day he and a friend were out walking fields up there, and his friend found this celt, which is an awesome piece in itself. And then just a few minutes ago I got a call from him, and he had found this pipe walking fields in a completely different area than he found the piece that I'm going to show you in a few minutes. And you probably saw the piece in the thumbnail, so you know what it is. So let's get on over there and let him tell you his story. Hey everybody, Spike here with Heartbreaker Relics. We're in Purvis, Mississippi at the Magnolia State Archaeological Society show. This is the first one we've had this far south, and it is more than a success. And we're standing at the table talking to people, greeting people as they come through and showing our collections and looking at stuff. And a young man walked up to me and said he wanted to thank us for something he found, for the second part of something he found. I'm not going to go and tell you the whole story. I'm going to let him tell you the story of one of the finest artifacts that I've ever seen come out of the state of Mississippi. And believe me, after this video, it's probably not going to be the last time you heard of it too. So without going any further, I want to introduce you to Richard Arington, and I'm going to let him tell his story in his own words. And then we're going to take a look at this as we're telling it.
Hi, my name is Richard Arington. I found a nice little piece over the past couple of years. Found it broken, but I'm going to tell the story about how I found it. I was just working out in the field, and I saw a 10-foot skip in the cotton, and I just threw me off. I had to go out and check it, and when I went over to it, the start of the skip, there was a stone just sitting halfway in the ground, halfway out. And let me pull it out and I'll show y'all how I found it. I found it sitting in the dirt just like that, just perfectly out like that, right on its backside. And I didn't think anything of it, just thought it was a normal rock, and went over and kicked it straight out of the field. And I didn't kick it whole out of the field, so I went over to it to look at it, picked it up to throw it, and it was, I could just see legs. I could just see legs. And I didn't know if I had it anything or not, so I showed it to my dad, and first thing he told me was that it was someone's lawn pottery, and that there was no way that it could be something. And of course, in the pipe, you could see all down in it, and it was just packed full of dirt. So I took it home and washed it out, and as soon as I started washing it out, I knew that it had to have been something. But the only way I found it was because it had rained 8 inches. Just torrential rain, and then the farmers had to get the seed in the ground, so they had to wait and wait, and it was the beginning of season, so they still had a little bit of time, but then it rained another 8 inches, so they had to wait and wait and wait a little bit more, and it was getting towards the end of the planting cycle, and so they just had to go right into it, and it was right at the top of a hill that leads down into a creek. And so they had to just plant it through there, and when they went to plant it through there, instead of going up, they just went straight through. And I went out there to check all the damage, see all what they could and couldn't plant, and it was just sitting perfectly in that row. And you go to the tractor tire, and I'm 6'3", and so it came perfectly up to my nose. I just sitting there after I had kicked it out of the ground. And then it lit a fire under me, and I had to go out and just every day almost for a full year almost to the day. And I went back to the same spot, and I found the headpiece. And again, it was after it had rained an 8-inch, 7-inch rain about a year later, almost to the day. And I went up and down, walked all over this field, and I had watched Heartbreaker Relics videos, of course, and it just made me want to go out there and look and look and look and look. And if I hadn't looked at a video that morning when I woke up, I probably would have never gone out there. So I do credit Spike and everybody to helping me find this half of it. They gave me that motivation. And I went across that entire field. I found 4 or 5 hole points, 6 or 7 broken points. I found hammer stones. I found a mortar. And then at the very end of the day, I'd spent 7, 8 hours out there. And I just decided I'm going to go try to see if the frog is out there. And I started walking up every row, just down, up and down, up and down, up and down, until I got to the row. I already knew where I had found the other piece. And it was just sitting about 5 inches away from where I found the base, the whole of it. And I was 15 yards away, and I could just see that right there sticking out of the ground. And eye to eye, I just knew it. That's what it was. And I got a video of it, but it's not very appropriate. Because I was crying, I was shaking all over the place. And
I did it. Oh, I did it. I found it.
There's nothing like looking for rocks, looking for artifacts. I promise you. And it's just amazing. I really do thank Spike and everybody for helping me find this, because I do not think I would have gone out there that day and found it. And it's really a miracle, because you can tell where the discs have gone over it, all over it. And you never know. If I waited, then this might be in a million pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So I really do thank them for that.
I'm gonna tell you, it's the finest piece that we've ever had the pleasure of anybody bringing up and showing to us, and it's an amazing piece. And when he walked up and showed us, he was shaking, just telling us about it. So I knew that it was something special, and it's glad to know that I'm not the only one that'll shed a tear when you find something that you...
I was crying like a baby.
We appreciate it. We appreciate you bringing it in and sharing it with us and allowing me to do this interview. And I hope you take Rob up on his advice and have it restored. And that is, and I think everybody watching is going to agree, maybe one of the finest, if not the finest, frog effigy pipe ever come out of the state of Mississippi. If there's anybody out there got one, tell us about it in the comments, and then we'll try to get with you and do an interview too. But that is, and that's just stuff like that. There's just no words for it. And Richard, we appreciate you bringing it in and sharing it with us, and man, you're just never going to do any better than that.
Well, I really do appreciate y'all, and appreciate the message that y'all put out on y'all's channel. Just
thank you. That means
God, friends, and family rocks. It really does.
In that order.
It really does hit you.
Yeah. Well, good deal, man. We appreciate you.
I thank you for your videos.
It's our pleasure.
It's the highlight of my week.
We appreciate it. All right, we're going to get out there on the show. I'm going to get some better pictures and close-up video. Just one more thing before we get out of here. Mr. Jerry Dickey looked at this pipe and gave it a certificate of authenticity. Mr. Jerry Dickey is one of the most respected names in authenticators. And this is what he says about the pipe. It is an Effigy elbow pipe. And he goes on to say the elbow pipe was initiated during the Middle Woodland period and continued in use through the Mississippian period and into the historic times. During the Mississippi period, various styles of human and animal effigy pipes occur. He gives it a date of 1,000 to 1,500 years AD. Again, this is one of the coolest things that we've ever had the privilege of seeing ourselves in person. We thank you, Richard, for bringing it in. Thank all y'all for watching this video. Don't go anywhere, hang around. We've got some more pictures here at the end, some close-ups of the pipe. Thank you for stopping by. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Check out some of the merchandise below, and we'll catch y'all on the next one.